So last night, you know who interrupted primetime programming for a mile-a-minute speech to defend what he's done to the country in less than a year. Take a look.
11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. Our border was open, and because of this, our country was being invaded by an army of 25 million people. This is what the Biden administration allowed to happen to our country. I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, bringing for the first time in 3,000 years peace to the Middle East, and secured the release of the hostages, both living and dead. You will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year, after years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. Inflation has stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected, and our country is back, stronger than ever before.
Was he on a set? Who is he talking to?
I don't know.
I mean, this is, look, you know what? I'm going to tell you, if he says that people, he always likes to say people have Trump derangement. But I feel like he's got Obama and Biden derangement syndrome.
Yeah, I think he does.
Because,
Yes.
I mean, he said their names. I mean, I don't know how many times you can't keep going to that well. That well is dry. This is on you.
Everything.
You did this. This is what you've put together. It's not them. It's nobody but you. It's you.
I can say with a lot of confidence that people did not want the finale of Survivor interrupted. To have a president double down on a real survival experiment right now. The part that jumped out on me is he focused a lot, kind of how he ran on immigrants and how they're undocumented and they're criminals. There's 25 million of them. He kept saying that, and one of the biggest problems he's up against is as he started to deport people, the only criminal part was possibly they were undocumented. He had started with, we're doing violent criminals. Then, simultaneously, he did pardon violent criminals from January 6th. He also pardoned the Silk Road creator, who was a criminal, and the former president of Honduras, who was a drug kingpin. So you cannot focus on actual crime and we're a nation of laws and then just let the real criminals go. That part jumped out at me because he tried to double down as if people don't know better now.
I was actually, I had a pen and paper, and every time he made a claim, I wrote it down, and then I went to Professor ChatGPT, and I checked to see if it was true, right? Like, I was doing trying to do fact checks in real time, and he lied so many times that I actually couldn't catch up. But what I did find was when he said that by the executive order he issued on prescription drug prices, that those prices will be cut as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. Well, Professor ChatGPT says that is mathematically impossible. Impossible.
You will get paid for those drugs.
And that even if the president got the companies to reduce the prices of all of their drugs to 0, that would only be 100% cut. So it's not possible. Then Professor then he said that there were falling grocery prices. Professor ChatGPT said that the government's consumer price index shows that prices have risen every single month since April. So that was a lie. And then I'll just give you two other lies. He claimed that gas prices are now under $2.50 in much of the country. ChatGPT professor says that there are only 4 states whose average price for a gallon of regular gas was below $2.50. The national average is actually closer to $3 per gallon. And then finally, he claimed that under Biden, there was crime at record levels with law enforcement, and words such as that just absolutely forbidden. I didn't really understand that, but ChatGPT said neither of these claims is true. FBI data showed that both violent crime and property crime declined nationally under Biden in 2023 and 2024.
Thank God for ChatGPT.
Professor ChatGPT.
I sort of felt sorry for him in a way. It's like I wanted to sing a Christmas song. The Epstein files are coming today. Just to cheer him up a little.
Well, so like a random fact about Donald Trump is he does love these national addresses. That in the State of the Union, he sees as uniquely things that the president's allowed to do. Speaker of the House can't call for one and have all the networks and all the cables cut in. So he sees the value in them. But the downside for me, I knew it was going to be a highlight reel. People who were like expecting some major policy announcement were always going to be disappointed.
I thought he was going to say he was invading Venezuela.
That's
Everybody
what-
kind of thought that.
No, it was always going to be kind of him going over what he thinks are the best things that he's accomplished. But to me, it signaled that the White House gets that him claiming the affordability crisis is a hoax. They don't even believe that.
No.
They knew going into the holidays, every American is looking at their pocketbook, they're looking at the prices in the grocery store, and they know there is an affordability crisis. But how he chooses to address it is what got to me. I mean, 3 things stood out. He didn't preview any major economic policies that are actually going to bring costs down.
Right.
So we're going into a new year and we're just supposed to hope that it's the hottest country on earth and something happens. A lot of why costs are so high are his own tariff regimen.
Right.
Which was
If he
his favorite
rolled-
word, he
It was
said.
his favorite. If he rolled those back, a lot of consumer costs would come down. The second is just kind of the lack of compassion. And I get it. He's a wealthy person surrounded by wealthy people. But like, all my family group chats are about how everything is so expensive right now. And
Yeah.
he needs to get how Americans feel. Finally, he then does also, to Sarah's point, sabotage what his own maybe accomplishments could be. He did secure the border, but then he has to just make up stats. 25 million people. It was 11 million. That's a big enough number, but you undermine your own point when you just kind of throw something out of thin air. The one thing I'll give him credit on is this bonuses to troops. He's giving them basically $1,700.
Let's see if they get the.
Well,
I want to see
it is
them
coming-
get
Where's
it
the money
first.
coming from?
He says tariff revenue. That's what I'm most intrigued to see if that's actually the case. Listen, coming off of the
I don't have
government
my phone. I
shutdown.
got to check that with Professor ChatGPT because I don't believe that.
Well, in the delay that they all had of not, they got back pay, but I mean, people need help. But all Americans need help right now.
Yeah.
And just a handout isn't the answer. Smart policies are the
Well,
answer.
what he's doing is he's thinking, if I make sure that the soldiers have what they need, they'll back me in what I want. See? So listen, and then he threw what is the lady's name who did the Vanity Fair?
Oh, Caroline Levitt?
No.
Susie Wiles.
Susie
Susie
Wiles. He
Wiles?
threw her under the bus
Well,
and
of
said
course.
she made
That's
him
right.
do it.
Yeah.
And I said, is she the devil?
Yeah.
Because
The
the
devil.
only,
Yeah.
you said the devil made me do it. Okay, you do that. But you saying Susie Wiles made you give that speech of inaccurate information?
Yeah.
She wanted you to lie? Come on, man. Come on.
Like they say, if he's moving his lips, he's lying. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
you can't not lie.
And there you have it.